Some of his favourite
Now,
I have to give them to Andre instead. He likes them too.
yeah, good idea.
Sorry,
It's all good to go.
we're right. Okay, kia ora everybody and welcome to the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board for our second to last meeting of the term. We do have an apology from Councillor Anne Galloway. Somebody like to move that we receive that apology, moved by Art Peters, seconded by Andre.
Andre.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Is there any? Carried. And just to let people know that we've got live streaming in Jimmy Chen, Helen Broughton and Catherine Chu and Gamal.
Not yet. Gamal's on his way.
Thank you.
Gamal's on his way. Okay, that's all car pie. So moving on then to our agenda is declarations of interest. Is there any matter on our agenda today that people would like to declare an interest in? If so, say so now or forever hold your peace. No declarations of interest. Well, then we will move on then to the confirmation of our previous minutes of the 16th of August. Thank you once again, staff, for the very accurate record of the meeting. Then I call for, I'll move, we accept those minutes, and seconded by Mark Peters. Is there any discussion? Then I'll put the motion, then all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against of any? Carried. Moving on then now to one of the most important parts of our meeting, is the public forum. And we've got Sarah Schnapp. Sarah, would you like to come and join us?
Sure.
Thank you very much. If you take your seat down at the end of the big long table there, Sarah, and we're in your hands.
Okay. Pretty short and sweet, really, but hopefully to the point. I'm Sarah. I own Smarty Pants, which is a shop in the Landing in Wigram Skies.
Yes.
I've been there for just over 5 years now, and there's been a lot of development in that area, as I'm sure you're very aware. I don't know how long ago now, maybe 6 months or so ago, the speed limit was reduced from 50 k's an hour through the Landing to 30 k's, which I definitely had, I was part of that discussion. And while the 30 k's an hour has helped through there, it's definitely decreased the speed. There are still a lot of issues down that particular part of road. Now, I don't know if you personally know that stretch of road. Do you know where Smarty Pants sits?
Yes.
Yes. So directly outside Smarty Pants is a piece of road that is different from the rest of the road, and it's
different texture.
It's different texture, and it sort of looks like a pedestrian crossing, but it's not a pedestrian crossing. Andre has got some photos which are hopefully coming. Have a look.
Yeah, I've sent through two, and then
and I've added another one today. So yeah, so that bit there, where they when the 30 k an hour bit came in, I'd also managed to get them to put or convince somebody to put yellow lines through that bit there.
Yes.
The idea of that was hopefully to get trucks to stop parking right in front of it. If you go to the next photo that I've just taken today, that's a very small truck that would not usually be parked there. That would normally come up on that yellow bit, on the blind accessibility thing. That bit there, which is not too bad. Having people pull up there for a quick unloading is fine. But what happens is, where you can see on the other side, very, very large trucks can't pull in, and they take up that entire piece in front.
Sarah, we'd be quite comfortable if you wanted to come and stand.
I would love to.
Yeah.
So very large trucks will pull in, and they'll pull in with the back of the truck about here, and then they will go right. The truck is big enough that it takes up that whole amount. So for somebody to cross the road, you have to carefully inch out to about here to then try and cross the road cars from here can't see you because you're stuck behind this massive truck and you're sort of trying to be safe about it. And it's very, very dangerous. And I'm going to be the person that witnesses a small kid running out of my shop and getting hit by a car. And what I really was hoping to happen, so when all this got slowed down, I asked for a loading zone to be put in, but what happened was they put a 10-minute parking zone here for enough for 2 cars. That's all very well and good, but people pull in there and they stay there for half an hour. It's actually not what I was hoping for. What I was hoping for is an actual loading zone, a yellowed out loading zone for these 2 car parks here, so that these big trucks actually pull in there and do their unloading from there, because it's just, a kid's going to die, basically. And that gives me goosebumps. I've got goosebumps right now because a kid is going to die because they're going to run across there, because also it's not a pedestrian crossing, but it looks from here to here, it's bricked as opposed to the rest of the road, which is not bricked. And yeah, I mean, basically, it's pretty obvious. That's the point. It's not obvious. And cars are going, the majority of the time, they are going sort of 30-ish down there, although I witnessed a very large truck go, I'm sure, going 50 down there today. It's not wide enough for big trucks for a start, especially when there's 2. But yeah, so I would really love to see speed bumps down there, but my biggest priority is seeing that as a proper legal pedestrian crossing and having a loading zone in there, because if it was a legal pedestrian crossing, they just couldn't park there. Well, if they did, I'd be, I don't know, I'd be calling the police, because it's just, it's terrifying. So yeah, that's my bit really. I'll just make sure I didn't have anything else that I was wanting to make sure I got across. But yeah, so that I think having a loading zone in there is an integral part of it, because I know myself, and I have courier deliveries every day, they're coming in with pallets and things. There is a loading zone. So Henry's is right next to me, and they have a loading zone out the back, but it's really not realistic to expect trucks for Joe's Garage and Joe's Garage to be parking around there, because they have massive pallets coming in every day. It's not realistic for my couriers to have to park around there and bring pallets and things, but if there was a proper loading zone over there, it would be more realistic too. I would never let one of my couriers park across there. If they did, I would be requesting them to move. But the staff at Joe's Garage, they don't see any of that, so they actually have no clue.
Question, Andre?
I'm just wondering how often you see it used as a crossing, how often you seeing cars actually come to a stop and wait for people?
Probably 50-50. From my own experience, I walk up to the crossing, well, whatever it is, I walk up there and I'm looking, I'm going, also because it's 30 k's an hour, people are going much slower. This morning, I had a car slow down, and I was like, are they going to stop or are they not? They didn't stop because they don't have to. They didn't stop, but if I wasn't really aware of how that works, I would have thought they were going to stop. And if I was a 7 or 8 year old, I would have probably walked across. There are a huge amount of elderly people in this area as well. There's 3 rest homes in the close vicinity, including one that people walk from constantly. And, you know, if it's not a pedestrian crossing, then they struggle to get across as well. So, yeah. And also trucks park on that daily.
Thank you.
Several times a day.
So
thank you very much. So what we've had this issue raised before anyway, and I understand that there is looking into it now.
Yeah.
So we don't really have to ask for a staff report. What we'll do is thank you very much for your deputy, your part in the public forum, bringing that to us today.
Thank you.
Because you are our eyes and ears, because you're there seeing it and living with it every day.
Yep.
So thanks very much, Sarah, for bringing that to us. So we'll just have to wait on the outcome of that.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get a good resolution at the end of the day.
Thank you. And thanks, Andre, also. And Debbie has been in as well, but Andre has been into the shop you know, and he's been out there, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate your encouragement to come along here as well. So otherwise I wouldn't have known about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Do we know when that report's coming through to the board?
No.
No.
No, but it's,
I haven't
they're
seen
working,
that,
it's in the
I was
list,
told
it's in the list of priorities.
It's not that far away.
It's a massive list.
Okay,
Thank
Yeah.
you, that's been
Thank
helpful.
you.
It's been
Yeah,
helpful.
thanks,
thank you,
Sarah.
thank you very much, Sarah, all the best.
Thank you.
Jonathan Martin, we've got next. Jonathan?
He's not here.
No, Jonathan's not here. Well, then who have we got next in?
We're going on to deputations.
Oh,
now.
deputation, we got Mark Duff. You want to make a deputation about the correspondence?
Look, I'll just be really quick as well. The GHRA just want to really confirm our support of the portable Wi-Fi cameras that have been proposed by Liz Gordon and Kim Moss. This was brought up at our 2 meetings ago at the Greater Hornby Residents Association meeting and received unanimous support from everyone that was in the room. I'm aware, I think Jimmy was there, Mark was definitely there, Debbie was there as well. It's something, and I've heard the frustration around this table with elected members from Halswell on the quarry issue with the cameras. This is something different that we're proposing where they can be portable and Wi-Fi and move around the community, because we're getting hotspots in Hornby where crime might raise for a couple of weeks. And Liz Gordon is obviously the boy racers in her area. But the main challenge we're getting as residents is the police asking us to come up with the evidence. Without evidence, they can't do anything. But the boy racer issue is becoming more and more of an issue in our area. We're getting more streets targeted, and that's why with these portable Wi-Fi cameras, we believe they could be even put on residents' property, and people may not even know they're there, but they'll assist greatly when we go to make complaints. So just once again, we fully support what's been proposed to you to consider and offers something different and in terms of fighting the crime in our area. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you. Okay, so there's no more presentations of deputation by appointment, no presentations of petitions. So we're moving on then to correspondence, the Greater Hornby Residents Association, Kim Moss and Liz Gordon's letter to the residents, what we just heard about today. So are you moving to receive that item of correspondence, Mark, seconded by Debbie? Is there any discussion? No discussion, then I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any, carried. Moving on then to clause 8, which is the Canterbury AMP Showgrounds proposed pony club lease to the Halswell Pony Club. And I looked at that through that report and thought it was very excellent. Felix, welcome to the table.
Thank you.
I'm just saying it was a very good report, Felix, and we're there too. It's your report, so we're here.
Yep, no, thank you. We've all read it. I just read it too. Thought I'll ask you if you've got any questions, because it made sense to me.
No, but I'd like to know it when it's ready.
You're familiar
Yeah.
with the history of the Halswell Pony Club.
Absolutely, I was just gonna say about that,
So it's
actually.
an old, yeah, so you know, they've moved to a new area and it all seems to be working. So it's just time to, formalise it.
No, so I was quite excited to see that anyway, because as you say, I know the history of that and was involved in getting it relocated. So that's really, really good. So it's been moved by Mark, seconded by Debbie. And if the
Chair, I have a question.
Oh, question, Jimmy. Sorry, brother.
The Felix, may I know the first one regarding to the license, the granting, there's a council dedicated to the community board or not?
Yes.
Is it the community board delegation?
Okay,
Yeah,
Asking,
yeah, absolutely. It's
Okay.
a park. It's a park. So
Yeah.
it's a community board delegation. Yeah.
okay. But last are the this kind of license, council grant in back to the 2003. That's how many years?
The last license?
Since 2003, yeah. But council grant how many years coming for?
Probably about 20 years, I'd say,
That's
that I was involved.
How long was the previous one?
Yeah,
I
Yes.
think it was 20 years. I'm not sure. I haven't.
20 years, Jimmy, because I got them
Okay,
relocated.
but with 20 years, not yet expired. It is until 2023, am I right? So now it's a 2022, but why mention expire? I have no idea.
Okay.
Just getting.
I think.
Anyway, it's your question to answer, Felix.
I think that we can probably assume that it either wasn't 20 years or it started earlier. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm pretty confident that it's expired though. So I haven't got that at my fingertips.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's my question.
No, it's due to expire, Jimmy, from my recall of the report. It's due to expire, so they're coming to us to renew the lease.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing today, because we've got the delegated authority to do that. And that's what we're hoping will come from this meeting, this has been moved and seconded. So you're in debate actually now, Jimmy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Sorry.
So-
Yeah.
We missed your question, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Apologize.
One more question. Paragraph 6.4. When new license forwarded to the Maori, the Mahalui,
Yeah.
to our Taneo limit for comment, when?
When was it passed to
6.4.
them for comment?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't got the date there. I apologize for not putting the date there, but I think it was last year.
So no any concern from them.
Right.
No, they confirmed that they had no concerns about it. And we went back to them, this year. Like, I'm sorry, I haven't got the actual dates, but we went to them twice because we were concerned about, one of the managers were concerned about the fact that it was near the source of the river there.
Yes.
Yes.
And they confirmed that there were no issues as far as they were concerned. So we had two goes there. And
Okay, thank you.
no question
Yeah,
of
because
there
the
was-
council, we have a kind of partnership with the, the Naitahu, we need to be aware regarding this issue. We have to have a consultation with them, that's important.
No,
Okay,
it
thank
was-
you. That's
it was quick.
my question. Thank you.
Okay, no further questions. Then I'll put the motion that's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against of any, carried.
Thank you. Been on the cards for
School
a long
patrol
time.
crossings. Oh, no. Thank you very much for an excellent report.
Tempted to say nay.
I think I should be treated a conflict of interest. My granddaughter goes to St. Bernadette. But anyway, it's more to do than St. Bernadette School, but there is. But anyway, we're in your hands. Everybody would have read the report and understood it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Community Voice for this opportunity to present this report. My name is Panatong Yasso, and this is my manager here for Jacob Beverly, Planning and Delivery Manager for Transport. So pretty much, I guess this report was, this was actually omitted from a report back in October, and the delegations in that last report was 22 pages. So we're actually here to tidy that up and make sure that these crossings are actually legal. So pretty much we've got 3 crossings to get sorted out. Tūnaha Road, one for
Main South, isn't it?
yeah, and one for Main South. So yeah, 3 primary schools.
Yes.
We need to get sorted out. So
It looks good. It's just what we need. And with the light of everything that's going on down High Road, and we got the schools in that area, as well, Hornby Primary and St. Bernadette's. It's very, very important that we get that. And it's very important that the schools have a designated person to actually run and monitor the school pedestrian crossings when it's in place. So that all looks good. So is there any questions, staff?
Chair, I have a question.
Chair, I can't see you, Jimmy, but anyway, I can't see your hand. But anyway, there you are. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. May I ask staff, except these three primary school, St. Bennett's, Hornby Primary and Riccarton Primary. How about the Lady of Victoria? Whether it is part of the South Express cycleway or not?
Our Lady of Victories, Jimmy.
Yes.
Lady of Victories, Jimmy's referring to.
Just further
Not
down
our Lady of
South Road.
Victoria.
I guess we took the schools as a point of reference, because all these three crossings are actually directly outside these primary schools, so it was quite easy to identify these crossings using those primary schools. So if the other schools are using them, even better.
Yes.
Does that
Okay,
answer your
but it's
question?
not on the way of the major cycle route.
No.
No? Okay,
No.
okay.
Oh, yes, it is, Jimmy. It is because it's on the main South Road. Our Lady of Victories is on the main South Road, just west of Riccarton High School.
That's right.
And Riccarton High School, of course, we've got Riccarton Primary School as well.
Yes,
and they
yes.
do have signalised, they do have the, the school pedestrian, school pedestrian control system is in place.
Okay, thank you.
Across
That's
it,
my question.
Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. Any other questions? I'd just like to thank staff for your report and bringing that before our board, which is very important to us, is safety around schools. One of our priorities, if we have a look at our objectives for this term, and we actually have, I know there's always more to do, but we actually have done quite a bit in this area. So thanks very much. We've got a mover and a seconder, Mark Peters, and seconded by, I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Then I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any, carried. Thank you very much, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board representatives to the mediation on the appeal regarding plan change 4 short-term accommodation.
So this is my report.
So Faye, we're in your hands.
So this is just pointing out that the board was involved as a submitter on proposed plan change 4 short-term accommodation. Now that plan change was approved and has subsequently been appealed. So along with other submitters, the board's been invited to mediation and indicated that they want to attend the mediation, but we just need to appoint some board representatives to go along to that mediation and speak on behalf of the board. So what we're looking for.
So that's what we're looking for. And of course, because we have submitted on it and it's we're part of it. So we've become coming in the appeal, through the section that allows that. So we won't be, what we're asking for is, we're not going to have a redirection from our submission, but we want to appoint representatives to be part of the negotiation that may come out of the mediation on the appeal. So
also just pointing out, sorry, Mr. Chair, that the reps are going to need to have authority of the board to settle. So if a settlement
that's
comes
right.
out of
That's
that,
what's in the
they need the
report.
board's,
Yes. Yes.
After, yeah.
So the board need to, and of course it could go on after the term of council too. So that means that whoever the appointees are will still be appointed into that process until its conclusion.
So Chair.
Jimmy?
Yeah. This also my concern. If we review the 3.5, if I'm not sure, we is approved staff on behalf of the committee board, or is approved the elected member on behalf. But now it's a local government election. If we appeal at the 3 and 4 October, probably this appeal will continue. Next term.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So we
what
need to
I'm saying.
consider. Council have a sample case is dedicated to the staff on behalf of elected member. particular
what-
is election time period.
Yeah, Jimmy, Mike just said what would happen.
Yeah, I said that's what would happen, Jimmy, but what I'm
okay.
saying is, have you got any other questions, Jimmy? Because I think that's been answered. Whoever is appointed will be still representing the board in that appeal.
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
they're
yeah.
elected or not after the local body elections.
That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and we have taken
Mike,
legal advice on
Can
that.
I
Can we
speak to
take-
this? I've
Okay,
had my
thank
hand
you.
up a while.
Hang on, Jimmy, have you got any other questions on this report, Jimmy?
I know, yeah, this I just concern this one, this issue.
Okay,
Thank you.
brother.
Okay.
Thank you for your
You're only
question.
after questions at the moment.
Yep. Helen, you've got a question?
No, I haven't got a question. I've
Okay.
I've got a
Is there any
statement.
further questions?
Yes, I've got a question.
Okay,
Wouldn't it be the chairperson that signed the document that would go through? Both the signatures are there.
well, not necessarily, but it could be,
Could be.
could be. Yes,
Can I make a suggestion,
go.
Mike, as we have talked about this informally? This Mike and I have been involved with this recently. I would suggest that Mike and I are the representatives. And in my case, it's a lot of people in motels are concerned. And Mike and I have had discussions with them, and we've also talked to the Linwood Heathcote board, haven't quite got that right, and they are going to mediation as well. So we're going to, in fact, mediation, and we're upholding the council position. We're not doing anything further than what council has actually decided. So it's just to make sure that that the opponent, if you like, who's an Australasian company, does not make any real gains on this, because it will affect hotel owners and other people as well.
So how many are you now allowed to nominate from the board?
We have 3 if you want 2.
2 or 3. It says in the report it's 2 or 3.
We were asked how many representatives there would be, and we said that there would be 2.
Well, that's open to change
Okay,
because it's 2 or 3.
If 3 want to go, then make it 3.
That's right.
Well, can I say, could Mike and I be the 2? If somebody else wants to put their name forward, please do. If we can take 3.
I think you must have missed the part where I spoke before, Helen, that I was the chairman of that submissions committee, that where we all got together and we spoke on this matter. So as Andre's just suggested, if he wants to be 3, then have 3.
Yes, I'm okay with 3, but the three would have to.
So you all I'm doing is highlighting that you must have missed that bit. So
No, I'd missed the 3 actually, but
yes,
look,
exactly.
I'm comfortable if there's 3. It's not an issue because it's mediation only at this stage.
There it is.
okay, well, we thought it was going to be simple, but anyway, and I suppose it is. So is it 3 then? Can we do 3, Matthew?
That's the will of the board.
Yep.
We need to move in a second, that's all.
Yeah. Mark,
Happy to move.
Every second.
Well, hang.
what are we moving?
3.
3.
That Mike Moore, Helen Broughton and Dean Moore represent the board at the mediation on the appeal regarding plan change 4, the appointment to apply for the duration of the mediation process and any subsequent negotiations, and with authority to agree to a settlement.
Yes,
Yes.
Good to me.
okay.
Enjoy.
I'll put the motion then.
Sorry, who was moving it?
It was Mark and Andre.
Any discussion?
Actually, I think that's quite good actually, because of the 3 of us, we're all from different wards. So there'll be slightly different issues. So I think we can make some real, we're going to be there with some real knowledge of what's happening on the ground.
No, that's fine.
We're only speaking to our
We're only speaking to our submission.
We can't add to it, can we?
No,
Can we, Matthew?
no,
No.
unless they want to concede something, but anyway.
Yeah.
But that all comes out of negotiation.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any, carried. Thank you very much. And moving on then to our next exciting item, which is the Summer with Your Neighbours. Thanks very much, Noella, for your report on that.
Oh, that's good.
I'd actually like to move that, please.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Helen, seconded by Debbie.
All those in favour?
But anyway, hang on, we haven't asked, is there any questions to report before we go on?
I have one question.
Righto, Jimmy.
Well,
go for
I
it,
can
brother.
ask the staff. Where is the staff?
Staff, Noella's at the end of the table.
Oh, I couldn't see the staff. Who she is? Or who he is?
Noella is the staff person. She wrote the report, Jimmy.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. May I ask you the one question? Okay. What is the criteria? You know, we're going to funding, small amount funding to the neighborhood, because I reviewed some of truly the neighborhood, some of resident association. I just want to know, for instance, like item the 30 marked off, they want. Resident association, they organize quite a few like a fun day, Hornby one or barbecue, etc. Yes. But this one, two park pop up the barbecue, 400 people estimate. Where they are come from, what kind of street, whether overriding those neighborhood function. Neighborhood main purpose is we need to 1 or 2 street, you know, 30, 20 people, they know each other, getting together, build up socialize. Here is kind of resident association one.
So I think, for example, with that one, it's also about building connections with residents that they may not have met before. And it's also in, I think they were going to do pop-ups in parks and reserves that aren't generally used. Yes, so it's a good way to kind of get out in the community and meet new people.
It is, yep.
Yeah, I know, but these 400 people, whether they have also their own neighborhood support group or not.
I'm not sure about
that. Well, I'm
consider
is concern just overlap. This is my concern. Or their function has been, you know, overriding.
No, I don't think so in this case. They're looking at bringing in whoever's in the area. So, you know, people passing by, it's not just a set group of people. It's for everyone basically in the area.
Okay, if that's true, you know, that about 400 people, we grant only 200. Whether it's too small, if each one is $1, at least we need to grant 400 people, 400.
So the maximum amount under Some of Your Neighbours is $200. So that's the amount that we've recommended.
Yes.
Yep. But 400 people, we only grant $200.
Yeah. Because that's the maximum amount.
So I think they're planning on doing a sausage sizzle, and they put the amount that they requested as $300. So $300 for the event. So I'm quite happy with that recommendation. But I mean, if we wanted to increase that, I mean, it's something that
would be setting a precedent.
No,
and we could lose the object of it. Is Summer with Your Neighbours, and it would become a big event.
That's right. So that's a citywide formula of $100 max.
It's a board contribution.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's my question.
Yep.
I need to identify clearly.
My question is also around criteria. The potato competition judging. Yes. Do you know if we're talking potato sizes? Are we talking decorative potatoes? Are we talking smallest potatoes?
I think it's a number of potatoes that you can grow in a bag.
But that's a very popular event for that community. Where is it? So
yeah. Number 22.
22.
Potato.
That's all. That's all for me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So we've got a mover. I didn't think we'd actually had a mover at this point in time.
Helen moved.
Yeah, I moved it early first thing.
I put a hold on it because we hadn't had any questions. So no, that's okay. It's been moved by Helen and seconded by Debbie. Any discussion? No, I'll put the motion in. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. And we got Sam. You want to come and join us? And we've got the Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Discretionary Response Fund 2022, 2023, Halswell Bowling Club Inc. and the American Football Canterbury Inc. and the Avon Sequence Dances. That sounds exciting.
I'd like to move it.
Happy to second.
I'll second.
Is there any, I've got to ask if there's any questions of Sam. Is there any questions? No questions? Then we've got a mover, Debbie and Andre. Any discussion? Well, I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against of any, carry.
Right,
Thank you. Moving on then to the elected members information exchange, and I just want to start the ball rolling, as I quite often do, with some issues that have been happening in Riccarton around Westfield Mall and the bus exchange again. This is quite serious. There's a gang of up to 30 young people that are creating havoc in that area and chasing people and beating them and kicking them, all of that sort of stuff. And it's getting quite serious. It's a regular event. So I think it's something that we need to seek some guidance from our police, really, and see what we can do. And we may need to talk to security that are at the bus exchange as well. And because it's not only out on the street either, it's actually they're going into the mall and assaulting people and kicking them and robbing them of their clothes in the mall. Good Lord. So it is quite a serious thing, and an act that's making people in not only in Riccarton but in our ward and the wider community think Riccarton is not a safe place for your kids to go, your young people. People of 14, 15, 16, 17 are being beaten up. So it's not only young kids, and it doesn't matter whether it's male or female, it's happening. So I just thought I wanted to raise that in this. And Gamal, you've had some issues raised with you.
Yes. Kia ora, everyone. Yes, I just wanted to stress on this issue once again. It's really alarming in Riccarton. It's we are a good community, and we promote the cohesion and in our neighborhoods. And I wanted again to stress on this issue. And lots of people contacted me and sent messages. Majority of them are ladies and middle age. So they are concerned for their kids and for the safety, and it's really I support what Mike is saying, that we need to advise from the police, and probably we can also ask the police to come and address the board on this issue.
Thank you. And we'll go around the table. Helen, you've got your hand up.
Excuse me, Mike, I will have to go for another important meeting, please.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Now, the issue, the large issue for Riccarton is coming to a head on this Thursday's council meeting, where there's going to be the intensification of the whole city, but Riccarton is particularly affected because it's got two large commercial centres going to 6 stories, and everybody else is going to 3 stories. That's coming to a head on this Thursday. You're probably aware that Tony Simmons, who's from the Riccarton Bush Kilmarnock Residents Association, has coordinated a group of 17 residents groups who are actually opposed to this legislation. Council has got some flexibility, and one thing it has done, it's made Riccarton Bush a qualifying matter. So there has been some progress, but in my view, and I've sent it round to you, I believe, that we should be in this area a heritage precinct, and Hamilton is using that term, but our council isn't. So there's still a long way to go. I think I want to point out to people, because I don't think people are clear, that this medium density housing, that's 3-storied housing, or 3 units with 3-storied housing on sections, goes live on the 23rd of September if it goes through council on Thursday. So there's no further hearings panel or no further discussion. And I think a lot of people are quite shocked. I've had a number of emails from people saying they didn't realise that this was in the wings and that it's going live. So it's going to be up to councillors as to whether they decide to ratify what's there, send it back for further information, or say no to it. And then there's consequences, obviously, with that. So it's a huge issue, and I just believe that Riccarton is particularly affected because of the large two commercial centres, and everywhere which has a large commercial centre can have 6-storeyed buildings around it.
Yeah, we're aware of that, Helen.
Sorry?
Yes, we're aware of the rules. Yes, we are.
I'm sure everyone on the board is now, but it's the public, I think, who aren't fully aware. It's quite complex because there's been 2 separate bits of legislation, and I think it's all got muddled, actually.
Okay, thank you, Helen.
Okay, thank you.
So just following on from that, whilst we're on the same subject, Helen and I are intending to speak on behalf of the board at that meeting.
On Thursday?
Yes.
Well, Helen wasn't aware when I was talking to her before.
Well, that's because
Helen didn't indicate to me that she was going to the council meeting on Thursday.
Yes,
I'm definitely going. I guess.
I asked you this morning, were you going?
Sorry.
And you said you weren't.
No, I'm definitely going.
I think
the kind of issue is whether we're only allowed 5 minutes, I think, if Deb and I speak on behalf of the board. If we go as separate individuals, and I did a personal submission, then I could probably have 5 minutes, and I'd speak particularly on Riccarton issues only. So I guess I'm still not quite clear which way I'd wish to go.
Or how soon does Helen have to give advice to speak separately? We've already requested on behalf.
No, well, it's got nothing to do with us. That's the council meeting. So what you do on Thursday, you and Debbie do on Thursday, is totally up to you. It's got nothing to do with this meeting today.
No, it's information exchange.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
So, yeah.
Well, so Debbie has indicated that she's going to speak on behalf of the board, and I think she informally discussed it with other members.
Samantha knows about that, but what I'm saying is if Helen wants to speak separately.
As an individual, I don't know, Helen would have to organise that herself. I don't know, have you, Helen?
Sorry? Yes. And I've had a computer breakdown which hasn't been remedied, and I'm sorry. They will have sent the information back. I've chased it up on my home computer, but I'm not sure. So look, I guess if the board was comfortable giving myself and Debbie permission to speak on behalf of the board, and then perhaps if I find there's more time, I might just do a personal
we're
submission.
not in a position to give anybody authority at this part of the meeting because it's elected members of information exchange.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Can
Is there anything else you want to raise in elected members information exchange?
Sorry, the main thing I wanted to raise today is I'd like to move that we meet, or board members or some board members meet with appropriate staff and Sally Ching regarding the issues on cars turning on her motel property. And it's an informal meeting where we try and resolve some solutions. So I think probably it's better if there's a few board members rather than the whole board, but if the whole board wanted to actually be there, I'm comfortable with that.
Alan, would you suggest that we could perhaps do that after our submissions informal meeting?
Well, I'm relaxed when it happens. I'd probably seen it as a special meeting that we have with staff and Sally, because I think there's solutions. I don't believe we can't find some solutions, and certainly that the placard or the billboard doesn't appear to be there, and I'm not sure if she has not wanted that or whether that's staff who haven't actioned it. It's very unclear, I think, at present. And obviously she's actually been to the media. So I just want to make us sound as though we're sympathetic, which we are, and we want to actually meet to try and resolve the situation as best as we can.
So you want that before the end of our term, obviously?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So that's been noted then, Helen. We'll see what we can do with that.
Thank you.
Okay,
To add to that, I met with Sally Ching this morning
yes,
and just checked whether there'd been any progress, and obviously there's been none. So I'm with Helen that if we can get a meeting with her as soon as possible to try and start moving this forward.
we were told, or I was told that staff have been out and put signage up and other things up. And evidently what I'm hearing now is that we were told that that has happened. And are you saying that it hasn't?
There is a sign at the entrance that says no U-turns on this property. No U-turns permitted on that.
No, but there's other signage that was going up on this, wasn't it, Matthew?
The signage on
Middleton Road.
indicating that you can't turn right onto Island.
Well, I went up Middleton Road the other day and I didn't planning to go straight ahead, and of course can't go straight ahead all right.
Okay.
But I didn't see any signs, I must
And that's
admit.
what we were told.
And I'm on.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. We were told that there was
I'm not
signage
saying
in
there's
place,
not
but
there.
anyway.
I'm not saying they're not there.
Okay.
I'm saying I didn't see
Yeah,
them.
okay.
They're not.
Right, so Helen, yeah, well, that's going to be actioned.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
okay, Debbie.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so just
I think we've gone.
So are you requesting traffic staff to attend this meeting tonight? That's what I'm just trying to do.
Helen, are you asking for traffic staff to attend this meeting?
Oh, yes, please. Say two traffic staff.
Yeah, well, you were saying appropriate council staff, and I thought that would automatically be traffic engineers.
Yes, I do too, and obviously Faye or Matthew or both of them. Yeah.
Not much use having somebody from Parks and Reserves attending a meeting about traffic issues in Riccarton Road. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I've dropped out for some reason. so obviously you can hear me, but
So we've gone. Yeah, Debbie's exchanging information.
okay,
now.
so just following on basically about that medium density, basically we're just concerned, bottom line is that we believe that the medium density, that's the 3 stories, needs to go out for public consultation, because at present it's not going to. It's going to go live on the 23rd without any public consultation, and that's our concern. Right, second incident, Matthew's asked me to raise this here. I've sent an email to everybody a couple of days ago. Henderson's Road, there's an ambulance hub, peak traffic, 3 p.m, 3:15. I turned right into Henderson's Road from Halswell Road. Next minute, there was an ambulance coming toward me from the distance, and I thought, how on earth is that going to get out of here? Because there's two lines of traffic exiting Henderson's Road onto Halswell, one to turn right, one to turn left. And I thought, how is this ambulance going to get it? So anyway, I parked on the side of the road and watched what happened. And sure enough, they had to literally go onto the wrong side of the road, literally on the corner. So anybody that was doing a sharp left approach, travelling west toward Halswell from town, that was doing left, it would be hard to ignore the fact that it's an ambulance and the sirens are going, etc. But it's just a concern, and I would just really like the traffic engineers to perhaps have a look at the situation and consult with the email that I sent out and see what solutions can be made. I understand that yes, Halswell Road is state highway, Henderson's Road is not. So perhaps we may need to consult, or be best to consult with NZTA as well on that issue. I was almost going to jump out and just stop the traffic, but the ambulance got there quicker than I did. So if we're able to.
That's okay.
Okay, Mike's computer's obviously gone.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Won't let me scroll.
Oh, it's, yeah. So it might now because you've given it a couple of seconds break.
Yes, carry on.
Right. I've also asked on several occasions about the conditions on Sparks Road, especially at peak traffic, where it's banked up from Hoonhay Road right through to Henderson's Road.
Yep.
Now, the reason also, it's not not only is it the fact that Halswell is hugely growing with many subdivisions, but people cannot turn right out of Westmoreland at peak traffic. So they're turning left, coming down Henderson's Road and turning right onto Sparks. So therefore, we've got the gridlock coming from there because we never dealt with the situation, which Westmoreland people came to us some time ago about, where you had suggested the poached egg roundabout at the bottom of Westmoreland, which would have been a very practical.
Poached eggs roundabouts work really good with a three-legged intersection.
Yeah,
and that's
well, that
exactly what we got
would be
there.
ideal, and it's becoming more of an issue because Westmoreland's growing up, and it's further development going up. So, so because we haven't dealt with it there, it's becoming more of a gridlock further around.
Yep.
So once again, if we could have traffic engineers checking out that and have them recognise that, especially around 8 to 9 a.m. mark and other times of peak traffic, to recognise that people recognise that Westmoreland are being diverted because they can't turn right.
Okay.
Arthur Street, Hanson Lane, yellow lines, any update, any report back on that for the yellow line corner at all?
They've still got time, I think, in their action to do it. Haven't heard anything
Okay.
back. It's not,
And-
The
it's not
normal time frame for anything like that is probably 3 to 6 months,
staff have got 90 days from when you.
which is 3
Well,
months.
it's about, yeah, well, it's been about 90
It's close,
days.
isn't it? Yeah.
So, and also sent an email some time ago, didn't we, about the sign in Aden Field, misspelt sign. I asked if there'd been a consent. Has anybody checked to see whether there was a consent for that sign that's been, it's a post that's planted on a berm. I'm assuming there would need to be a consent for that. Has anyone checked to see if there's a consent for it?
We've looked, but we couldn't see one.
Have we
Doesn't-
checked at all from consents if there needs to be a consent for that sign?
No. Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
And
What's long term? What are we going to say? Long term, what are we going to do? Because
well,
I can spend
long-term-
hours checking to see whether there's a consent. Do you want the sign removed? Do you want the sign replaced? What's the long term goal for it?
Well, so much use having a sign there that's in public view in a public place if it's got the name of the subdivision misspelt.
I'm happy to replace it.
So the board would like to pay for a new sign.
No, I'm happy to replace it. We'll go on.
Well,
We'll paint it.
once again, if I can just back up to what I was about to say, this is why I'm talking about consents, because there is a procedure with consents that if you've got a sign like that planted in the middle of the berm, it could be dangerous. So therefore, it needs to be consented. So we can't look at replacement. If the consents department is saying you cannot have a vertical post planted in the middle of a berm, so therefore we can't look at replacement. If the consents team come back and say, yes, it can be consented, then we can look at replacement. Are you happy with that?
You and Andre are going to
Yeah.
fix it. Yeah.
It's not going to be a resource consent, it's going to be a voting, some sort of voting.
Okay.
Parks and
Let's
Reserve.
just go.
I couldn't see.
Go to Aiden
Okay.
International School.
Anything else?
We'll-
Beautiful.
Anything else?
No, it might not be consented.
Okay, anybody else got any information they wish to exchange? Helen, you've had your say.
No.
Mark Peters.
Yep. Wanted to bring up the safety hui that we had as a board. Thank you to staff for arranging that. And just wanted to get some clarification as we're working on getting a community engaging safety meeting as well to
That was just the first step in the process. Yes. Yeah.
Have we got any estimate on what timeframe might be on that by any chance?
No, we've got staff off with COVID at the minute, so it's all a bit delayed.
Yeah, okay. Cool, just wanted to raise that question. And another question I had was, this is one of our big frustrations out in Hornby, is the Waterloo Road, Parker Street intersection. When that report is likely to be released, I'm kind of nervous and thinking that it's probably going to be after our board finishes. It'll be into the next board. And to me, that's kind of unacceptable that we've waited this long for that report that is of great interest to our community. And just
So
Be good to have some time frame around that.
The Parker Street, Seymour Street, Gilberthorpe Road intersection.
there is
Safety issues.
just a minute,
One of the
Mark,
next.
if you bear with
Yep.
me, I think there is a Waterloo Road report on the next meeting agenda. It might be that one. Just have a quick look.
So this is the last meeting of the board.
It is.
So anything that comes out of that meeting will be the new board anyway.
So this is around the concerned Waterloo Road between High Road. And so this is what we've already had the briefing on. The work that's required that came out of the high school brief.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
No,
Okay,
not
well,
at
that's
all.
what this report
No,
relates to.
that's not what Matt's
Okay.
Not what I was
referring to.
referring to.
Okay,
No. Mine was the Gilberthorpe's, Waterloo in Parker Street at the
Okay.
South Express and.
Is that not, thinking back, is that not part of the, because we've been briefed on, they'll come back and talk to us when they did the cycle update, weren't they going to redesign that then? And we haven't.
They've
we
been
haven't
going to
seen-
do a lot of stuff, Matthew.
But we haven't seen that design yet for the cycleway, have we?
No.
So I think that's all part of that. So because I remember when they came in and when they spoke to us and they talked it through. So I'm anticipating a briefing back to the board around what they're going to do for that. We haven't had that briefing yet.
Okay, so
We'll
what
chase up
our board's asking for is, can we get some action and let the people who are writing the report for the briefing to listen to us before they write a report to brief us about what they've already made their minds up to do?
Amen.
It's one of the biggest frustrations I've had.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Well,
And Megan Woods, our MP, wants to have input into that too. So do we just say, there's an issue here, staff. We know you're going ahead with the motorway down Waterloo Road, with the cycleway down Waterloo Road. But anyway, it's, we'll come and tell you what we want to do when it suits us. Anything else?
I guess you're all aware that I met with Sally Ching this morning. And,
Yes.
and that's well and truly in hand. So hopefully we can get something done sooner rather than later. Because to me, that's one of the huge unintended consequences of that intersection change that we, as a board, said no to, but council said yes to. So really keen to
and
follow that through with Helen and whoever wants to be involved. Let's try and get something happening.
yeah,
Okay, well, we got that in hand.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Also,
Yes, please.
noticing a lot of footpaths as I'm pounding the pavements that have got a lot of tree root damage. One of the ones I saw this afternoon was Ariki Place in Hornby, in the high.
did you snap in solve it?
Didn't have time to snap in solve it, but almost the entire street was an absolute shambles.
Tarima Street is another one that's quite bad. You know, it's an absolute hazard. You know, it's there's
So
some
we need some
shocking
shocking
ones around.
paths around the Hornby area.
But anyway,
I found that snaps in solve because you've already got your details in there. It's very quick and they come and repair them very smartly.
all they'd have to
Because
take,
it's a
they'd have
health
to.
and safety issue.
There'll be
I
hundreds.
know, but what we're talking about here is, you know, a major and virtually cutting the roots off the trees or taking the tree out to make a smooth footpath. So it's more than just a snaps in solve, we'll fix it overnight.
So just
Can I make a point? It's quite a big issue, Mark, and I'll be very brief on it. The Dovedale campus at university, there's a resource consent going through for a large creative studio, which will both train people and make films. I haven't been particularly involved with this. There's a number of residents concerned, and I'll send around some documentation that I've been sent.
Okay.
So I think it's quite an exciting venture, but it's going to have traffic implications. So how you marry that with local homeowners has sort of yet to be seen. but it's about 3 stories high. It's sort of not huge.
Okay, thanks. Andre, you're patiently waiting,
I
Andre.
don't know about Catherine.
Catherine's left the meeting.
Catherine's no longer with us.
Was she actually here?
Well, speaking of patiently waiting, Sutherland's Road is now open, which is great. It has been over 3 months it's been closed, and it's something that our board were never notified of. And it's just and it was originally only going to be 3 or 4 weeks. It's just a good example of why we do need to improve lines of communication between council and our board, so we can let people know these things. But very good to see it is open once again. I've had several people ask the same question around crossings along Sparks Road between Henderson's Road and between Collier Drive. I've had some questions asking if there is any plans for crossings along there. Obviously, it's quite a busy road, and if someone wants to get over to the shared pathway, it is a busy, fast road. So I don't know the answer to the question, so I'm tabling that question here. If there are indeed any plans for improvements and crossings between Collier Drive and Henderson's Road on Sparks Road. The last issue here, there's some work going on Wigan Road across the go-kart track, and I'm quite keen to know what it is.
What?
Looks like a stormwater retention basin's been put in there and it's full of water.
Well, that may be what it looks like, but I'd quite like to know. So yeah, I have emailed that question through, but yeah, it would be really good to get an idea on what the plans around that wider area are as well. I remember we discussed maybe a few months ago that we were going to get a briefing on the future plans of the go-kart track.
Yep.
But anything we're able to get in writing in the meantime around that area, and particularly the work that's taking place now, would be very useful, because it certainly perks my curiosity. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, Helen, have you got another? You've still got your hand up.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's a mistake, sorry.
Okay, anybody else got any information they wish to exchange?
Just if we're going to be looking at footpaths, can we also look at street signage names? Because a lot of them are becoming so faded, and I do snaps and solves, but I'd be full-time busy doing them every day because you just can't read street signs anymore. Yeah, is it white on blue?
Specsavers, that's a good ad.
White on blue. So the black and white ones back in the day when we just had black on white, or was it white on? No, yeah, black print on white background lasted forever. But we've got blue background with white print, and it just fades, and you just can't read them anymore. Okay. So I'm forever relying on
Specsavers.
No, Google Maps.
Oh.
Because they know where the streets are, but you can't see the street names on the corner because they're just so faded.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I haven't had much problem with that.
So if you
I'd
can
say
send
50%.
through,
And I haven't even been to Specsavers.
50%.
if you can send through
Some examples.
50%, you do need to go to Specsavers.
No, I
You never get a job as a taxi driver.
That's because I've had a lot of them replaced already.
That's a lot of replacement if 50% need to be replaced.
I'll
Okay.
certainly do some.
Okay, anybody else got any information they wish to exchange?
You're going to go and look at it now.
No.
Some streets.
I'll declare the meeting
Okay.
closed. Thank you very much for your patience, your endurance, and your understanding of each other's points of view.
Okay,
And,
thank you,
happy-
everyone. Thank you.
Happy campaigning until we see you in 2 weeks' time. Oh, no, we'll see you next week.
When will be our last community board meeting?
20th September.
It's on your
20.
September, brother.
Okay, thank you.
One more, Jimmy.
Yeah, and you need
Okay,
to,
thank you.
You need to be here in person.
Okay.
And I'll send something round about a social function.